After this I saw in the night visions, and behold, a fourth beast, dreadful and terrible, exceedingly strong. It had huge iron teeth, it was devouring, breaking in pieces, and trampling the residue with its feet. It was different from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns. Daniel 7:10. The angel explained that this fourth dragon-like beast represented the fourth empire, counting from the time of David. Video 4. The four beasts that Daniel saw. The day of judgment is described in the prophecies of the prophet Daniel. And, while that should interest us greatly, other equally interesting things are found earlier in the same prophecy. They can be found in the 7th section of Daniel's prophecy. First, the prophecy tells us some things that were to come after Daniel's time and yet prior to the judgment day for all people. These include the rise and fall of several empires. The empires are represented in this chapter by four beasts. The first looked like a lion, the second like a bear, and the third like a four-headed leopard. The first was like a lion, and had eagle's wings. I watched till its wings were plucked off and it was lifted up from the earth and made to stand on 2 feet like a man, and a man's heart was given to it. And suddenly another beast, a second, like a bear. It was raised up on one side, and had 3 ribs in its mouth between its teeth. And they said thus to it, Arise, devour much flesh. After this I looked, and there was another, like a leopard, which had on its back 4 wings of a bird. The beast also had 4 heads, and dominion was given to it. Daniel 7:4-6. What nations were symbolized by these beasts? We don't have to guess. An angel explained the prophecy to Daniel. The angel started with a 4th beast that we have not yet described. It looked scary. After this I saw in the night visions, and behold, a 4th beast, dreadful and terrible, exceedingly strong. It had huge iron teeth, it was devouring, breaking in pieces, and trampling the residue with its feet. It was different from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns. Daniel 7:10. The angel explained that this 4th dragon-like beast represented the 4th empire, counting from the time of David. That would mean that the 4th beast represented Rome, and that the first 3 beasts represented Babylon, Persia, and Greece. Thus he said, the 4th beast shall be a 4th kingdom on earth, which shall be different from all other kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth, trample it and break it in pieces. Daniel 7:23. There is a research document link below that you can access after this video that is the descriptions of these 3 empires historically, but in this series we will focus on the 4th empire. Do you remember that the 4th beast had 10 horns? Not only did it have 10 originally, but an 11th horn grew up and uprooted 3 of the original horns. I was considering the horns, and there was another horn, a little one, coming up among them, before whom 3 of the first horns were plucked out by the roots. And there, in this horn, were eyes like the eyes of a man, and a mouth speaking pompous words. Daniel 7:8. Those 10 horns represent the European powers that rose out of the ruins of Western Rome. These became the world-famous colonial powers that controlled most of the planet. But what about those 3 horns that were plucked up by the 11th horn? And which power was represented by that 11th horn? History answers authoritatively. The group that rose to power after the 10, and that was represented by a little horn, was the government of the Roman Catholic Church. Just in the years prior to the rise of Islam, the papacy worked to have 3 European tribes destroyed. They were the Ostrogoths, the Vandals, and the Heruli. We will learn more about them in a later video. We know the little horn is the papacy not only because it was small, not only because it uprooted 3 other tribes, but because it was also the religion and a country, the one that blasphemed God and that persecuted his people. Interestingly, the prophet Daniel even saw how many years this papal power would control the earth. He shall speak pompous words against the Most High, shall persecute the saints of the Most High, and shall intend to change times and law. Then the saints shall be given into his hand for a time and times and half a time. Daniel 7:25. Muslims largely remember this evil power for the work it did in the Crusades, when it slaughtered millions of Muslims before pulling out of the Middle East. How long was it to have authority to do these evil things? The phrase time and times and a half of time means 1260 days. And just as the beasts in this prophecy represent nations, so the days in this prophecy represent years. Moses and Ezekiel both used similar comparisons, using a day to represent a year. And history supports the truth of the prophecies. The papacy first gained power over the city of Rome in 538 AD, and when the Pope was taken captive by the French army in 1798, lost its power. So how long did the papacy exercise such oppressive control? For 1260 years. You probably noticed that these 4 empires, Babylon, Persia, Greece, and Rome, are the same ones that showed up in Nebuchadnezzar's dream about the metal image. In Daniel 7, just after the papacy does its dirty work, there is a picture of a judgment in heaven. We will study of the heavenly judgment in our next video.